Hello. Hello, hello. I believe I am live. How's everyone doing? Happy Tuesday, happy snow day. So this is a bit of a surprise. Let me see if I am live. It's a bit of a surprise because Ainhoa could not make it, so no, I am not Ainhoa. But I'm happy to be here and host this Facebook Live. Here, let me just make sure we're on. Okay. So as I mentioned, I'm happy to be back. I guess I did okay last time. I got good feedback. Thank you guys for my first Facebook Live. So I'm back and today we're on for a treat. Hope everyone is keeping warm and dry. Can you hear me now? I guess I've been talking and you've not been able to hear me. How about now? Can you hear me now? Oh my goodness. So I did mention that I'm new to this Facebook Live thing. I've been talking and you've not been able to hear me. So I think we're good now. I said a whole bunch of stuff, did my own spiel about how everyone's day is going. We'll jump to the meat and potatoes of this Facebook Live. So again, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nancy Sanchez. I am a real estate agent with Realty of Chicago. Again, our team does these Facebook Lives, home buyer seminars to inform you. And with these episodes, we really want to go into detail on each step of the process. So we had a few episodes where we talked about the market, we talked about getting pre-approved, we talked about starting your home search. And last week, my first Facebook Live, I talked about what the next steps are once your offer is accepted. And one of those steps, if you were paying attention, was to conduct a home inspection. If you have not had a chance to check those out, please go to our YouTube channel, leave some feedback, ask some questions. We're here to help you and assist you. Yeah, so today we will be speaking to a home inspector, right? So we like to do these Facebook Lives with professionals. So you are able to ask them questions. This is what they do. This is what they've done for so many years. So today you're in for a treat. We have two guests who have been doing this for many, many years, 𝒊𝒏𝒔𝒑𝒏𝒕 Rodriguez and Michael. And we're going to be able to speak to them on what a home inspection is and why it's important to host one. So let me have them join us. If I can admit them. Okay. Are we on? Hello, 𝒊𝒏𝒔𝒑𝒏𝒕. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome. So
Hello.
I had been talking for like a minute or two, and I just got word that they couldn't hear me. So that's why it took a little bit longer for me to join. But how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having us. We're grateful. Very happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. So as I mentioned, 𝒊𝒏𝒔𝒑𝒏𝒕 has been in the industry for many years, 21 years, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Yes. Yes. And her son Michael is also joining us today. So we have two very, very great guests. Tell us a little bit about yourself. 𝒊𝒏𝒔𝒑𝒏𝒕, we'll start with you.
Okay. So Mikey's usually here. This is a family business. And Mikey has been with me since all his life. I mean, I've been in the real estate business for over 21 years. He's about 30. I got to think about how old is he? Yeah, he's about 30. So he's been in this business his entire life. So that's why he's usually with me on these webinars. It is a family-based business. Prior to our home inspection business that we opened 5 years ago, Michael was part of my team when I had my brokerage, when I had my construction business, my flipping business, and then we went into home inspection. So we have lots of knowledge behind us, and then just one stepping stone led to another. And the reason why we started home inspection is because we wanted to be better at construction, so we wanted to be able to check our guys' work. When we hire them to do work, we wanted to be able to check them and to inspect their work along the way. And that's what made us go and get our license. And then we started promoting. This is where we got the license. And then sooner or later, we had a company, and here we are today. And we've done in the last 5 years, we've already passed 10,000 inspections. So we have fine-tuned our work, and we know what's needed in the industry, what's important to the people, what's important to the buyers, protecting them. And we know how we have fine-tuned our skills and our product to service them.
So being an inspector wasn't necessarily the goal. It was something that you kind of just went into, and then it was something you really enjoyed and loved. And is this the main service that you provide? Yeah.
Well, funny story too. When I was a realtor, when I started as a managing broker back in 2001, because you were able to do that back then. Now, I was a little intimidated back then. I'm not going to lie. In the industry, I was intimidated, and to be a better realtor, I took the home inspection class 2001, not even thinking that I would be here today. Not even thinking. 15 years later, I decided to open the company. But it was really, really to just be better at what I was doing as a realtor, and then again as a general contractor. And then Mikey can tell you, he's been by my side through the whole.
All the properties, all the demolition, all the building and breaking down.
So what about you, Michael? You want to give a quick introduction?
Yeah, my name is Michael. And yeah, she pretty much told my life story. It's so funny how fast she can get through it all, right? But yeah, so I've been right next to Mom the entire way, starting with when she had Back's property, she had her own brokerage. I remember that was like my first job, was going through paperwork and plugging stuff into the MLS for her.
Open houses,
So open houses, yep.
my bodyguard.
Passing out flyers, yeah. And then security detail when she had to show houses. So yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
yeah. And then yeah, it just turned into, you know, other jobs, and then, you know, and slowly but surely then we started seeing inspectors. My thing is with the inspection is, you know, I would go in and I'm breaking down walls and I'm throwing out garbage and I'm helping with the piping. This guy came in and took a couple pictures and left, and he got a check too. I don't want to, I don't, he didn't even grab a hammer. I want his job, you know?
Right,
And then so
exactly.
it kind of, and then we kind of were thinking about it, and then, yeah, next thing you know, here we are today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's great to have too, right? Like when people hire you and they know that they're not just hiring an inspector, you have previous experience with construction and being an agent as well. Like you bring a lot to the table, you know?
Right.
Yeah, we're well-rounded. We bring our different elements of the transaction to help smooth the process.
Yes.
So there's a lot of education in our sessions, our inspections. I say sessions because it is an educational session. When a buyer comes with us, we do educate them along the way and even after. So it's really informative.
Absolutely. Okay, so so as I mentioned in the last episode, doing a home inspection is one of the very first steps that you have to do when you have an offer or get an offer accepted. So inspections aren't mandatory. However, in our team, we always suggest for our buyers to conduct a home inspection. We are not inspectors. We don't, you know, we don't do that. We're agents. We're here to help you find a home, find your dream home, and make sure that your offer gets accepted. So we always tell our clients that, you know, they're not purchasing a pair of shoes, right? They're purchasing a home that's a big investment. So we do suggest for them to do a home inspection. It's very important. You know, first you look at the condition of the home, you look at the safety of the home as well. And then we're also able to use the home inspection as perhaps a tool to get credits from the seller or get repairs done as well. Do you have any tips or anything on why home buyers should also conduct home inspections?
I'll take that one. I'll take that one. So a home inspection is an observation that includes a report, and it really educates the buyer on what they are buying. They really, you won't really know until you actually do this inspection. It's really important because it helps them understand what they're buying. It prepares them for what's coming ahead in the near future. Is this AC at its last leg? You know, does this roof only have 3 years? I mean, to replace a roof, you have to do your homework, right? So if you know that you only have 3 years left on the roof, your insurance may not cover a roof after 3 years. So you have to budget yourself and plan on what's coming. And this is with every property. There is no perfect property, not even a brand new construction. Every property has their level of wear and tear, and you should prepare yourself and understand what that level is. Does it need new wiring, electrical wiring? That's important. You know, what's the safety concerns? You know, something as little as missing the handle going down the stairs, your grip, so that you don't fall. That's important. If you're going to have guests come over, your mom, you know, your parents, or your tenants, you want to make sure the home is safe for your tenants. This is not a pass or fail. This is a informative session so that you know what you need to do when you buy and how to prepare yourself. You'll get a nice juicy list from us, but it's more of educational. It's not a pass or fail. This is where it's at, and this is what you need to know to prepare yourself for safety and also any financial burdens. If you know what's coming ahead, you can prepare and you can be a wiser buyer.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us a little bit on what is it that you look for when you do home inspections?
So a home inspection is a complete visual inspection. So the things that we would look for from the outside going in would be the roof, the exterior of the whole property, so the exterior windows, any exterior air conditioning units, such as the condenser or whatever, what have you outside. We check the garage. We're going to check the concrete on the outside as well. The electrical wiring, how is the electrical going into the house? And then when we're in the house, we're going to check the electrical inside as well. It's a complete run through of everything, like I said. So we're going to check all the electrical outlets that are accessible. We're going to check every single window. We're going to open that electrical panel. We're going to open up the furnace and check that as well. We got to check the hot water tank. So it's really, we run through everything. And then it's all, any defects or what have you, get added to the report.
Right.
Heating, the cooling, the foundation.
Yep.
We have a
Everything,
list about 130 items that we have to go through a home. And we have to do it in less than 3 hours. All right. It's the standard is about 2.5 hours that we go through it. And so it's 130 items we check to make sure that it's still working. If it's not working, it's going to get, we have to disclose that, and to make sure that things are still safe throughout the house. Gas leaks are very important, where there's trip hazards, where there's electrical, where it shouldn't be, where it could cause a fire. These are things that will protect the family and the buyer.
Yeah. How long do you say would a home inspection take?
So the home inspection, generally about 2 hours. That's what I would say kind of the max would be a good 2 hours. It really just depends on the size of the property though as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So a condo is different from a single family, is different from a multifamily. So depending on the size is generally how long it takes. But like a single family house, probably roughly about 1.5 hours to 2 hours.
Yeah. And if the house is bigger, we send another person. So we'll have 2 people. Usually when we go up to 3,000 square feet, anything over 3,000 square feet, we'll have a second inspector. So we keep that time frame because we understand that time is of the essence. And it's after a while we lose the, people lose attention span, right? So we want to keep them there and keep them excited. And so it's at 2 hours is the normal. And at the end of the inspection, within 30 minutes, they get their report. Because while they're inspecting out there in the field, myself or Michael, we're here in the office and we're checking their work. We're following through and we're correcting, and we review the reports before we send it to the client. So we have a really nice system. It's a team environment. It's not just a one-man show. Everybody's got a backup. Every inspector has a backup. The office is backing up the inspector every step of the way. If they're running late, we call everybody, hey, heads up. There's a traffic, it happens, it's normal. But the thing is, communication is number one, and we try to stay on top of it as best as we can.
Nice. Yes, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. Sometimes things happen, like snow or wind, and sometimes you're not able to get there on time, but that's great. So we also suggest for our buyers to be present in inspections. I think it's very important to be able to ask questions and get more familiarized with the home. Do you agree with that? Do you have buyers?
100%, 100%. Like I always tell people, I would 100% ask you to come into the inspection. That verbal report is very crucial, for us to tell you, and because if you do have questions and it's right in front of you, it's a lot different than you seeing it on the computer the next day. Like if you're right there, I'm like, hey, this is what's going on, or this is rusted. If I can point it out to you and we're face to face, you'll have a better understanding, because like she said, this is a 137-point checklist. So, at least, because we're going to go through all those things with you while you're there. So by the time you leave, you're going to forget check number 1, right? Okay. So it's better when you see it there on the report, you read it, like, oh, okay, I do remember Mike telling me about this part. And it's a little bit easier for you to remember and go over it again. And you're basically getting 2 reports. Right. And then if you like, we're going to call you again and give you a 3rd report over the phone. So it's just a little better. And
to elaborate a little bit on your question prior, if the client needs more time at the property, it's not, hey, 2 hours, time's up. No, we book 3 hours for the inspection. And if they need whatever they need, we stay until they're ready. So we are not going to rush it. We have to, because we have the seller side that always wants us to hurry out. But we book it a certain amount of time. We just pretty much get it done because we've done 10,000 of these, so we have mastered the system. So, we get it done pretty quickly, but we slow down for the client, and some clients need more than others. And we want to make sure that they're happy and satisfied before, during, and after.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And I think some, as going back, Michael, to what you had mentioned, they get that first verbal report. They're able to be familiar with the inspection report, the written one, because they've already spoken to you, right? And taken their time, like Bexby said, you take their time with them if they have any questions, which will maybe or may not make the time of the inspection a little shorter or longer. I will have to say that sometimes buyers get scared when they see the report and it's like 20, 30, 40 pages long.
Exactly.
However, with them being present, because they're already aware of what's going to be on the report, it makes it so much easier. And I do explain to the buyers, like the reports are this long because you have so much that you have to check. And also you include pictures, you include details, suggestions, that they should focus on or keep an eye on, in the future. Not necessarily that this house is so bad, that's why the report is so long, but it's just sometimes suggestions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pages too, though, in the report that are just like, hey, this is what you have. Like we have parts of the report where it's like, this is the refrigerator that's there. This is the condenser that's there, and we're going to show the serial numbers. So just because you have a lot of pictures doesn't mean that you have a lot of defects. It means it's just a house.
Right. You're giving them information.
Yeah, it's all your information that you need.
Absolutely.
And like that too, like a lot of the things that, that we're finding, a lot of them aren't deal breakers. A lot of it's like change the light bulbs or, add a handrail. So like, there's always going to be something, like Beck said, even in new construction, we're going to find some things. It's just the severity. So, and that's why what we do with our report, it's kind of color coded. So we have if we have a photo on there and it's color coded blue, that means that this is like a part of your everyday maintenance, like trimming your hedges or, or just like, some scuffs in the walls and stuff like that, things that you could just do on your own. Orange is more like cautionary, like, hey, this is something that could turn into something else, like, cracks on the concrete that could turn into trip hazards or other things that are like, causing things that are going to happen later on. And then red is like, okay, this is like more of a safety concern. This is something we have to focus on and get done right away.
Now, red doesn't necessarily mean fail either. Now, red means heads up. If you don't get the handrail is a $7 item. If you don't put that up, someone can fall and get hurt.
Right.
If you don't change these bulbs, how much is a light bulb? That's really inexpensive, but we want to tell you, because if you have that bulb in the closet and there's no cover and it's close to boxes, that could start a fire. Something so simple, changing a bulb. So red doesn't necessarily mean fail either. It just means look at this and let's play it safe. Let's take care of this now. Something so simple, changing a GFCI, or making sure you have the proper closers for your garage doors, that they close and they have the sensor, things like that are very inexpensive, but yet ignored. If it's ignored, it could cause a safety issue, and we don't want anyone.
Right. So for the ones that don't know, what is a GFCI and why is it important?
A GFCI is a outlet that protects you from electrocution. It shuts off. It shuts off once you touch water, and then you touch it. So that's why it's important that it's used outside, wherever there's water, outside, bathroom, kitchen, garage, because it's part of outside. If it's raining and you run in and you want to turn something on, that protects you. A GFI is an outlet that protects you from electrocution.
Yeah, right. And it's inexpensive, as you mentioned, but it's important. Yeah. So Michael, you were touching a little bit on one of the points that I wanted to talk about. If a buyer for any reason is not able to be present, what is the best way for them to read the inspection report? And I know you mentioned that, you color code them, right?
Yeah.
How
Yes,
else? Or what
that's one way. And then also, you know, it's like the whole thing has its description. We put in the location, and we also put in like the photo. So you're gonna get the photo. I'm gonna show you what we're looking at and give you the photo of it. So if again, if it's the light bulbs, I'm gonna take a picture of the light bulbs and like sort of like, okay, you'll see the photo of the basement and the light bulb that's on there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that'll be another way. And then also we offer the over the phone reporting. So if you weren't able to make it, and you know you're reading something on the report and something doesn't make sense, or you're just not understanding, you want to know better, either someone from the office or the inspector, if he can, and if he's not in the field, we'll give you a call and go over the report again.
That's awesome.
You know, and we'll just talk over we'll go through the whole list. If you can't understand it, we'll talk it with you and help you understand it.
And in addition to that, the report does come with a link to a video that I created that I explain the process on how to read the report. So it talks about every single tab. There's examples in the video. Actually, when you book the inspection, I send you the link free before you receive the report so that you can get a little heads up on how to read the report. So
Nice.
there's
Right.
a lot of information and education with our system.
Nice, nice. That's great. So there are different types of inspections. We have a home inspection. Explain or talk to us a little bit about the other inspections that you also offer.
So we do condo, single family home, multifamily, commercial. Also we do radon inspections. And if
Can
you'd
you
like,
explain what radon is?
yeah, so radon is an odorless, colorless gas that comes from the soil itself. It comes from our planet. So all of us are in radon at all times. The thing is though, when radon gets a little bit too high, it becomes cancerous to humans. It's actually the #2 cause of cancer in America.
Oh my.
So it's, yeah, so it's something that people are starting to really like, you know, be concerned about. And so what we do is we come to the home and we leave these radon sensing boxes at the house. They sit in the house for about 48 hours because the trick is with radon gets activated with the sun. So when the sun is at the highest point of the day at noon, that's when radon's going to be its highest activated. So that's why we leave the boxes there for 2 days to see the highest point of elevation that radon gets in your property in that 48-hour time frame. And then that's how we can gauge, you know, what the average levels are for your home. And then, you know, if they are a high enough level, there's mediation services you can get that, you know, hopefully you can talk to the seller into offering to get it installed. There is a way to fix it. It's like a system that you install to the home.
Mhm.
And it helps get the gases out of your home, and you know, and there's a way to fix it though. So if you do have it, it's not the end all be all. There's a way to mediate it, but that's one of them.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
also do sewer line inspections. So the sewer line is basically where your sink and toilet water go. You know, that's how all your flushings and everything like leave the home is through that line. So what we do is we have a snake camera that we run through that line to make sure that you don't have any tree roots or blockages, no disconnections or collapses. You know, sometimes it happens, you know, a lot of these are cast iron or they are clay tile, and with the earth forever moving, it can cause gaps and collapses in that line. And if it collapses and you're still flushing the toilet, that stuff can come back in. And that's something we don't want to do. So we just make sure we run it in there and we check the whole line. That comes with the video as well. So we will provide that whole video to the client so they can see exactly how that pipe look. And yeah, it's another great service to have. The next one we do is we do mold testing. The mold testing is an air sample test where we sample the air of the property. We run a machine in the house that just sucks in all the air, and then we take it to the lab reads it over, and they'll let us know that if we have high levels of mold in the property or not. You know, that's all respiratory stuff.
Right.
So if you do have, I mean, there's always going to be some mold everywhere. It's just, you know, a part of life. But if it becomes,
Especially
again,
in the city, right, where we have basements. That's
right, yeah,
the type of architecture we have in the city. So
yeah, the thing is that we have houses that seal everything in, right? So
right.
that's where spores come from. You know, your moisture sometimes, you know, the bathroom, keeping the, like a lot of, like, that's why I tell people a quick tip is with the shower, there's that fan a lot of people turn that fan on thinking that it's for the smell. It's really not. It's for moisture, you know. So
I
when
mean,
you take a
can use it for
shower,
the smell too.
yeah,
but
I
it's
mean,
mainly-
the main thing is for moisture. So when you're taking the shower, you want to have that fan on to help take that moisture up out of the bathroom, because then that moisture sits in the walls. Even after your shower, you should leave it on for a little bit longer too to help get it out.
Right.
Because that's why we start growing that black mildew in the bathrooms, is because we're not letting that moisture escape the bathroom when we're taking our showers or brushing our teeth or what have you.
Mhm.
So that's another one that we do.
So we have home inspectors in all different types of properties. We have radon inspection. We have sewer inspection.
We also do termite inspection. So and termites are actually included with our single family home inspections. If you order a single family home inspection, you get the termite with it. But we also do a standalone. So if you only need the termite, you know, that's when we'll do something different.
It comes with any residential. It does come with the condo, the single family, any residential, the multi-unit. It just doesn't come with the commercial.
Yeah, because it's way too big.
It is all included, but if they need a special termite, like for VA, because VA wants a special form for us to sign, and the different banks have different ways that they want them, believe it or not. So they actually have us create a separate form for that. We do charge for that form. It's a very small fee. But we do, but it's always, we always look for it. And we don't charge extra for it with any of our inspections, except for the commercial.
So I've had buyers ask me or just comment like, you know, Nancy, I've heard of home inspections and frame homes, right? Because they're made out of wood. But what about homes that are brick?
Oh, brick is even more, something more you would want to check. I mean, the masonry alone, you know, is something that's huge, you know, like there's a lot of indications where you could have water going behind the bricks and stuff like that. So it's good to have the inspector come in, also with structure. So, you know, the way that the cracks are happening on the outside in the mortar will let us know, like maybe we have step cracking, we might have some structural cracking. You know, the mortar needs tuck pointing, you know, throughout, or is it just a little? You know, we got to check the chimney, because the chimney is made of brick as well. How is that chimney holding up? Are we going to have falling bricks one day? So yeah, definitely brick, frame, anything, because it's, you know, framing too is something that you want to check, because how the framing is done, right? And again, if it's open enough just to see this the foundation of the home. So either or, honestly, you really need it for both.
Yeah, termite it goes with the wind sometimes. Sometimes it blows it from next door. It doesn't matter if it's a brick home or a frame home. Both
yeah, and then the thing is too, like the house is brick, but the walls are not in the house, right? You still have wood framing. Your flooring is mainly wooden. So even though the house is brick, there's still wood inside, and there's still plenty of it.
Yeah, very true.
Yes. So we have a location also in Florida. We don't just service Illinois, we service Florida, and we do offer other services in Florida, like wind mitigation for the insurance companies. And we also do 4-point inspections, but that's mostly in Florida. So service two locations, the state of Illinois, Chicagoland and its suburban areas, and then the west coast of Florida. We're in Sarasota, Venice, Florida, you know, the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of Mexico.
Marvelous, nice. So yeah, I mean, for our buyers, when hiring a home inspector, you know, they must be licensed, as you can hear and see from this Facebook Live. They have a lot of information. They go through a lot of things that they inspect in a home. So once the inspection is done, you are able to call, well, as in the buyer is able to call you to ask any questions. Maybe we'll go over the inspection as well. We go over the inspection with our buyers as well, because it is during this time that our buyer, decides to either continue with the contract, or perhaps they may want to ask the seller to make some repairs or ask for some credits. The nice thing about this market, and we've mentioned it before, the market has shifted. So now our buyers are seeing that they're able to negotiate repairs and able to negotiate credits. So yeah, home inspection is very important to be able to do for their knowledge, and also to help them with, possible negotiations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else that you'd like to go over that we may not have touched on?
Well, how to book an inspection. So
Okay.
call us, the number is 1-866-422-9843. Those that don't know, it's actually 1-866-4-BAXTIE, BAXTIE, the owner. So 1-866-422-9843. We do prefer people to book online. Everything is online. Our schedule is live. You can pick your time 24/7. You pick your services, and then it'll show you how much it is. It'll come to us. We will review. We would verify. We cross-reference with the MLS. Once we see that it is what it says it is, it's confirmed. We confirm it. And we also take the next step, because we still have our status as realtors. I still have my license. I take the next step and I book it with the listing agent. So all parties are aware. We send the confirmation not only to the buyer, but to the buyer's realtor and the seller. We look up who the realtor, the listing agent is, and we send them a confirmation along with instructions, right? So we give everybody instructions. And what are the instructions? The instructions are, please make sure we have access. We want to do a good job and we want to do a complete job. But if we don't have the access, then we can't, it's going to be an incomplete job. And it's unfair to the buyer, because if we have to go back, we need to charge. We need to do it, but there is going to be a return fee, and we don't want to charge. But it's not fair to us, because we told everyone, hey, remember, we have to check. And so, what are the things we look for? Mikey, you want to give the list on the access?
So so when it comes to access, this is more for like the sellers. So if you're selling your property, there's going to be an inspection, again, like Baxi said, so that way we don't have to charge the buyer to come back. That might cause some tension when they have to go to the closing table, right? And number two, just so we don't have to come back, it's still your house at the moment. And I know you don't want me back in your house going through your electrical panel or anything or what have you again. So just better if you just make sure that things are accessible that, we're going to check, such as the garage. Make sure that the garage is accessible where we can come in. You don't have all your cars in there, so that we can get in there and take a good look around. Making sure that your attic access is accessible as well. You don't have all your shoe boxes in there, or there's no clothes, so that we can just easily put our ladder up and just get right in and out. Electrical panels, your furnaces, crawl spaces, just have those general areas just open for us so we can get in. We'll just make it a little bit more easier so we don't have to come back.
Yeah. Are you able to check the washer dryer if they have clothes inside? How do you handle
So
we're not supposed to.
Right.
We're not supposed to touch personal property. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's really important that everyone get educated on that. It's not that we're trying to be finicky, but we really, really are not supposed to touch personal property. So if the seller's there, I will tell them, please remove it. But if the seller's not there, then that's a risk that we're going to take, and some of us do, some inspectors do, but they could, that's their liability, right? Break something, we have to pay for it. And then it would cost more than what the inspection is, and it's really not fair to us.
Right. And I'm glad you send, like you mentioned, I'm glad you send those instructions to the listing agent, because at our team, we do the same thing. Before an inspection, we contact the listing agent and we let them know, okay, we're confirmed for this date, and please have, this empty, make sure we have access, or that the inspector has access to this, and so on and so forth. So
that's something, it'll just make it easier for everybody else, just so it'll make it a smoother inspection, because now I don't have to ask you, or have like, hey, can you call tell the agent, hey, can you call the buyer to come back and turn this on, so there's a lot of things, even where it's like if for like a seller that's doing a flip, You know, a lot of people like to turn off the gas or turn off the water because no one's using it. Well, when we come and inspect it, we can't turn it on, you know? So it's like, you know, that's something that before maybe you should turn it on, because we don't know why you turn, especially for a flip. You might have a tub that you didn't connect yet, and we don't want to turn on that water and cause a flood, you know? So it's like, I don't know why he has it off. There might be a reason, so I'm not turning it on. The owner would have to do that himself. So
And
certain things like that.
And 99% of the time, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And I've been out there when I go and with, you know, the realtor and the buyer, and we have a toilet that we can't test because they shut off the valve. And I tell everybody, listen, we're not allowed to turn it on because there could be a leak. And it literally, all the times that and I'm saying this because of example of experience and history, and that a realtor will say, well, you know what, I'll turn it on. And so they'll turn it on, and guess what? There's a leak. And now I say, okay, you got to stick around then. You got to wait for the seller to send a plumber because we got to go. You know, so that happens. I had it where it always the realtors, once in a while it's the buyer that he'll be brave and he'll do it himself. But we try to say, we're not going to touch it. But if you do it, remember, you have to wait for the plumber. It happened with the washer on a second floor in a condo. If the dishwasher isn't installed properly, we're gonna be hesitant about turning on that dishwasher because we don't want a flood. You know, if there's a flood, guess who's responsible? Us. Yeah. You know, so we have to be careful. And that's one of the things, that's part of access. If something is turned off, give us a heads up. It's off because of this. And you solve the problem, we tell the buyer, and you fix it before the closing, and everything is nice, right? But no guessing games.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, very great information, guys. I think we all learned a lot about the home inspection, the process, what you look for. You know, things like what's a GCFI, you know, what's a termite inspection. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for this information. I'm sure a lot of our buyers learned a lot today.
Yes, and let me give you the website again. Yes. Book us online is www.cityhomeinspectors.com. We do give a discount code called online 247. If you book us online, we give you a discount. So try us and let's see how this goes. We're looking forward to servicing all your clients.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you again for joining us, guys. For our viewers, we do have episode number 6 next week, Tuesday, same time, Facebook Live. Next week, now that we have covered inspections and we have, you know, we will review it with you and go over all that, then we will also speak to an attorney. So an attorney is also very important. We'll be able to talk about what an attorney review is and the details about it. So join us next week. Guys, thanks again for joining. And enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.